They did to both groups. Okay, so my recording just stopped, sorry. So they put them in 3 different homes instead of 2 different homes, and then they compared the data.
What did the data say?
There was no result. Because it got
What were they gonna do?
torn apart. They were gonna put this into some sort of a study and publish the results for really no good reason, I guess, maybe, I don't know, just so they knew high income families are going to have smarter kids and low income families are going to have dumber kids. I don't know what their purpose was to try to do this, right? I don't know. So the results were inconclusive, so they basically put all these kids through this for nothing. And if you watch this documentary, you'll find this all out. But the people who were put through this program, so the twins and the triplets and all that stuff, they couldn't access the information on what was collected on them. They cannot go back to the study and access that information because it was under some protected law.
They should be able to.
Yeah, because it's their information. It's like the doctor's office telling you that you can't have access to your health information. But they couldn't because it was protected under something. Okay? Until the year 2070 or something like that. And at that time, in the year 2070, all of these people would be 110 years old. So they put a date on it for all this information to become unlocked so people could get access to it. And they purposely put that date so that the youngest person would be 110 years old. So nobody that's in the study would be able to have access to this information. So illegal, bad deal. They were bad, but that's an exact example of matched pairs. Right?
So,
What?
do they sue them and kill them, or what do they do to the
What?
people? Do they sue them, or
What?
Sue 'em or
Sue the people that were doing this study?
do they know the people that were illegally doing it, or are they just kind of vanish?
No, they knew the people who were illegally doing it, but at the time there was no laws that existed against it. So it was super illegal, but they didn't have laws for not doing that stuff. So these people basically got off scot.
Illegal, it was unethical.
It was unethical. Now it's illegal because now we have laws against it. But at the time, they couldn't do anything.
no
They couldn't
law
sue
because
them because they're well, there's
was
not
never
really
heard of. It was
something.
never heard of,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah,
not a law against
yeah.
it, making it
yep,
Technically
yep,
legal,
yep.
but it's still unethical.
Yep.
So
It's
then
the guy the doctor who impregnated all these women and has 96 children or whatever. At the time, there was no law against it. I mean, it's a big no-no. You probably shouldn't do that. But at the time, there was no law against it, so he basically got off scot-free for not, whatever. They couldn't get him for anything because there was no law saying he couldn't. But, now there is because of him, right? So, anyway. Okay. All right. So, sometimes, no matter what, we got to get through this. Sometimes, no matter what, no matter how good of a job we do, we have sampling errors. Okay? A random sampling error, a non-sampling error, or a non-random sampling error. I'm trying to think of what these are. A random sampling error would just be I don't know, when we choose a sample randomly and we still get bad information. So, let's say we end up with, even though we randomly sample the group, we end up with 18 boys and 2 girls. That would lead us to an error. It would be biased toward boys because we have more boys. And that's just an error with our random sampling. Our random sampling failed us, okay? A non-sampling error is an error that occurs after the sample has been done. This would be missing data. Missing data could give us a non-sampling error. It's an error, but it had nothing to do with the sampling process, okay? And then a non-random sampling errors is any of the other categories. So non-random sampling would be the strategic sampling or whatever. Errors with the other 4 sampling methods, okay? So those clustered samples and these things that we already talked about, the flaws, if it, a systematic sample or a convenient sample, having the voluntary process or voluntary stuff would be an example of a non-random problem or a non-random error.
Well, you're gonna have
Good?
to print out the homework again.
I am. Is this on the wrong page again? Oh
I
man.
guess we could only.
You go
No.
back up for a second.
All right. Where? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good? All right, that is all. I'll go run off homework again. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop the video.